call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday, and welcome back to the Pod at the Palace. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Hope everybody's doing well this morning, and appreciate you for tuning in as always. Remember, saying about me, it's about Razorback basketball, sharing the stories and the journeys of this program with all of you who love Arkansas and can't quench that college hoops thirst even in July with football on the horizon. Really appreciate everybody tuning in and listening, man. It's really, really cool. It was kind of funny, actually. I had a listener and a Discord pal, Jeff. He tagged me in a message yesterday, and he gave Slim Jim well wishes, which I really appreciate. He's hanging out here. Matter of fact, there he is. The man, the myth, the legend himself. He's doing a little bit better. We're still trying to get some things figured out and regulated with him, but boy, for the first time in what feels like weeks, he was running around with his bone and playing and excited and had a little puppy energy in him this evening. So made me happy, but he's hanging out now. But anyway, appreciated that from Jeff, but he said to me also that the only way his daughter will nap right now is taking a ride in the car, and her lullaby was the Pod at the Palace. It said it keeps him sane as well when he's doing those drives around. Two things jump out to me, Jeff, and again, appreciate you, my friend. One, I sure hope this podcast soothes my own child to sleep here in a few weeks. It could be a couple months. It could be a few weeks. I got to tell you, and I don't know if my wife can hear me as I record right now. She's getting close, man. She looks like the prettiest Thanksgiving turkey you've ever seen. She just looks great right there. We're getting close, man. It's just the countdown now. So hopefully I can work my magic like I do for your daughter. But that tickled me. That was funny. The second part of that is like, I hope we're just serenading the kiddos to nap time and not you guys, especially if you're driving around like Jeff. We already had one listener, if you guys remember in the fall, who said he was so deeply tapped into the Pod at the Palace one day that he rear-ended somebody on the road. We can't have that. So like I'm probably gonna start mixing in some random shouts, some weird noises, like whatever during these episodes to make sure that we keep you guys on the toes because I can't be at fault for any of your transgressions as you're listening to the show. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of crazy. I never thought we'd have to consider this, but here we are. Honestly, if the Pod at the Palace isn't doing the trick to calm your upset child, you should probably just give Basis Health a call, really. I mean, like, especially if they aren't like Jeff's kids who love the car rides, because Basis Health has changed the way that healthcare is delivered with those mobile medical visits that will send a physician right to your front door for primary care, urgent care, IV hydration, and more. Check out their website, www.basishealth.org, or scan that QR code at the top right-hand corner of your screen to learn more. It's Basis Health, here for you when and where you need them the most. Okay. I got to say, that might have been the smoothest ad transition we've ever had on this show. Going to have to clip it out and send it to Dre. That felt good. But anyway, basketball, right? That's why you're here on this Sunday. Let's talk about it a little bit. Some recruiting trail updates, some more JJ Andrews stocks, just some other random tidbits that we'll get into. We'll get in and out pretty quick today. I want to start with a little bit of a random note. But like you guys remember when we did the video game ratings, I guess it was a couple weeks ago now. It was just during that whole convo about EA Sports bringing back the College Hoops video game in 2028 or whenever it is they're trying to do it. Have you guys seen all this 2K talk, though? So we all know that they kind of have the corner on basketball, right? With NBA 2K, it's the only one that's out there. And according to the story that I was reading in the Sports Business Journal, 2K is looking at creating a standalone college hoops game. So not an extension or a download for, the 2K NBA game, whatever, which is cool. But it says, and I quote, 2K Sports is making a college basketball game, one in which Power 4 programs such as the Big Ten's UCLA and Michigan State and the Big 12's Houston are rumored to be in the mix, with more than 100 men's and women's teams that would all receive fair market value as well for their NIL. So, I mean, I don't know how to feel about this because I'm all for college basketball and a video game coming back. It's been too long, but can somebody explain to me the point of doing it with a third of the teams or not every conference represented? Like, doesn't that just kind of defeat the purpose of bringing it back? Like, what's the best part of these games? Like, it would impact the most important part of all, March Madness, the NCAA tournament. Like, how would you do that? Kind of take away of, half the fun of a dynasty mode if you can't start from the bottom and work your way up from a low major up to the head job at Arkansas or whatever. So I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I would almost rather wait for EA Sports to do it right and have all 364 teams or however many there are involved and represented. That way, it's a true representation of the game and the landscape that we're working with. I don't know. Like, either go all in or don't go in at all. Like, we ain't in the business of dipping toes around here. Like, this is a cannonballs only type of situation. So I hope they figure it out. I hope they get it right. College basketball with 100 teams. What are we doing? They're trying to expand the NCAA tournament to 100 teams. We got to have more than that. Whatever. Anyway, let's talk Peach Jam for a few minutes here, shall we? The conversation, it starts with Razorback commit JJ Andrews, doesn't it? Was the only primary target in this class 2026 for the Razorbacks, whose team advanced into bracket play with a shot at cutting down the nets there in North Augusta. And interestingly enough, every morning when I wake up, I kind of check all the main websites and see, is there a new college basketball story out? Anything interesting? Anything relevant? And ESPN's Jeff Borzello had an interesting story up. And it was literally just about JJ Andrews and new Missouri commit Jason Crow. Well, why those two? It's because they're the only two 5-stars who are currently committed right now in the 2026 class. And it was just about how they fit with their new squad. So I want to pull up this and I'll read it for those who are listening to the podcast version. But from Borzello, as it pertains to JJ Andrews and his fit at Arkansas, it says the number one player in the state of Arkansas, Andrews has been on the radar of top programs for multiple years. He has tremendous physical tools and is aggressive going to the basket on the offensive end. Although he's not a prolific perimeter shooter, he did shoot 40% from three-point range during the EYBL regular season with just about one make per game. It's always unclear who will return to a Calipari coached roster, but Andrews should have an early role when he arrives in the fall of 2026. Unsurprisingly, the Razorbacks are in pursuit of a slew of other 5-stars in 2026. Well, I agree with all that. And he kind of proved Borzello right, I felt like, over the course of the day on Saturday. Yesterday on the show, I mentioned how JJ, he looked a little gassed out there in that second game. And, it was going to be interesting to see what 24 hours rest did for him. And quite frankly, it worked wonders for him in the quarterfinals, the Elite Eight, if you will, of Peach Jam. And they played at about noon on Saturday, excuse me. And Brad Beal Elite, they smacked up Team Durant, just cruised past him. And JJ was the catalyst for everything. He looked fully refreshed, 25 points. He shot 50% from the field, got to the line 15 times. You just cannot keep that man in front without fouling him. He's too athletic. He's too powerful. He can finish through guards. He can finish over the trees. It was just really impressive. He was in full playmaker and takeover mode. And I feel like he validated everything that Borzello talked about in that article that went out earlier in the day, just about JJ as a guy who can come in and contribute early because he has the athletic and physical tools to do that, to go along with a skill set that just seems like it's rapidly expanding. Now, he didn't play as well, but he might have impressed me more in the semifinals late Saturday night. He looked fatigued again, and I don't blame him. It's his 11th game in 10 days with a 7-man roster. That's a lot of minutes. I mean, you can do the math, but it was do or die. It was win or go home, and with a berth to the Peach Jam finals on the line. And I thought JJ really dug deep. He really, I think, tapped into the competitive nature that he has. Not that he usually doesn't, but it just really, really showed, I thought, in this game Saturday night. Quiet first half. And again, I was kind of watching that first half thinking, man, is the fatigue setting in on him again? Like he had a little bit of time to recover for that first one, but just a couple hours later, is the tank on E? But he stepped up when they needed him the most. He scored most of his 16 points in the second half, was 5 of 8 from the field. So efficient from that standpoint. And, he struggled the entire game at the free throw line. I think he was 4 of 9 late in the game, but Brad Beal Elite Again, this is win or go home, a packed gym, a lot of pressure in there. They're down 1 with 20 seconds left. He gets the rock, drive middle, gets fouled really, really hard. In fact, BBE wanted an intentional. They didn't get it, but then he stepped up to the charity stripe. And in fact, let me pull this up, the video, courtesy of Paul Biancardi here. And hey, when they need him the most, calmly steps up. Boom, lefty stroke, ties the game. Go through your routine. This could put you in the lead, and then all you need is one stop to get the dub and advance to championship Sunday, and boom, stroked it. Knocked them both down. No big deal. Just another day at the office. Brad Beal Elite wins the game, and now JJ Andrews is one victory away from winning back-to-back Peach Jam titles. They won the 16U on the EYBL last year. It was him and Mika Murinen teamed up. Doesn't have Mika this year, but JJ has taken his game to another level. One win away from back-to-back titles. That's really impressive. And this is the same kid who is a multi-time state champion already in high school. JJ Andrews is a winner, and winning matters. Again, every one of these other kids in North Augusta that Arkansas has been prioritizing took their L, took their bag, and had to go home. And JJ's just continued marching forward. So, in my opinion, and we stump for him a lot on here, and a lot of people are starting to, like, any conversation that doesn't end with JJ Andrews being a 5-star in the next batch of rankings, it's just absurd. I'm sorry. I mean, we're talking about the best player on the best team at Peach Jam who knows nothing other than how to win games. And hell, he's averaging 18.3 points, 6 rebounds, 2.3 steals per game on the EYBL, and came into Peach Jam shooting 40% from the three, which people love to knock him for. 50% from the field, better than 70% from the free throw line. What else do you need to see from this kid? I just don't know. But I'm pumped for him. They play the New York Wrens at 9:30 this morning on NBA TV, which is why this episode will get published a little bit earlier, because we do want it to be able to marinate a little bit before that game. But man, I hope he gets it done. What an incredible run and an incredible high school career that's getting ready to come to a close on the grassroots scene for JJ, who's just done wonders for himself in terms of becoming a stock riser and a guy that, again, a lot of people feel like he's going to be able to come in and make an impact right away for the Razorbacks this time of year from now. So good stuff. Let's see. John Calipari, he started the day, actually, ironically enough, sitting right beside Tom Izzo at Team Mello versus the New York Wrens. Hopefully, while they were doing that, they just ironed out a date for this game at Michigan State, right? Just knock it out. Go ahead and have that handshake agreement, get the contract worked up, and let's make that thing official. But it was interesting that he was at that game, I thought. Because remember what Cal said yesterday when he was on the broadcast about just like new guys who had kind of popped up on his radar and some who have proven to be better than he thought, as he's been there evaluating. He's caught a lot of games over the course of the weekend, and I caught the second half of that game. So we're thinking about who might have caught his eye that could potentially generate some traction. Again, I think that their top priorities are pretty much intact at this point. But, hey, for Team Mello, Ethan Baco, I thought he looked really, really good. 4-star wing from Oak Hill Academy. He's Mackenzie Mbako's brother, who is at Indiana. He's at Texas A&M with Bucky McMillan this year. Just an absolute free throw merchant. I think he went to the line like 18 times in this game. It was ridiculous, but another guy can just really, really get downhill. Super athlete. Chase Foster was another who impressed me. 6'9", more of probably a 4-man. He had 17 points, hit a couple threes at his size. Anytime I see a stretch guy like that, that's certainly something that intrigues me. And for the New York Wrens, and again, we're talking about guys who balled out in front of Cal, so maybe they got his attention. And the Wrens play against JJ and BBE for the finals today, so you'll see these guys if you watch that game. They have a big man, Najee Hines, who I really like him a lot. And I've watched him a couple times now this weekend. He's a top 40 center, 6'10", 250 pounds, big fella. And I don't think he's on like Arafan Dayani level, but he's really good in his own right. A New Jersey kid, had a double-double in this game there in front of Cal. Impressive player. So if you're looking for a fallback option, big man, potentially, he'd be one to I think keep an eye on potentially there. let's see. They have a couple mid-major plus guards like Jordan Skyers, Josiah Jervis, both really nice players. I don't know that they really have an SEC type of profile. But just thinking out loud, since he was there watching, Cal also set in on the next game, which was Team Why Not and CP3 in the quarterfinals in the morning. So what did that mean? It means Cal got another look at Christian Collins as well as Cole Clure, and a name that we mentioned yesterday. And Collins, he put up a stinker. If I'm being honest, I'm like, he had double-digit rebounds, which is good, but he had 2 points in the game. I'm sorry, like if you're a top 10 player in the class, you don't score 2 points in the Peach Jam quarters. Now, fortunately for him, Team Why Not won that game, and they advanced to play Bradville Elite. But honestly, I wasn't really that impressed with him in that game either. He had one stretch early in the fourth quarter where he hit a three, got fouled, knocked down a couple free throws, and it was like a much-needed personal 5-0 run to close the gap there. But yeah, he was only 4 of 11 from the floor. Wasn't even on the floor at the end of the game. I don't know if he was hurt or something, but I don't think he was, because he was dancing on the sidelines during the final timeout while he wasn't playing. So kind of a weird deal. I thought Christian Collins looked amazing in the second and third EYBL sessions this summer, but really struggled the last 2 weeks without Taj Ariza there as his running mate. And so that's one of those things that kind of makes me wonder, is he more beta than alpha? Is he more Robin than Batman? And that's okay. There's a world for that, but those are things you find out in settings like this. So, I'm a little less upset about Arkansas, cooling off on him now than I was this time a week ago. It's just, if I'm telling you guys the truth. But at any rate, and then for CP3 again, a name we mentioned yesterday, Cole Clure, 6'7", top 25 wing. They looked really good again. He did miss a potential game tying runner there at the very end. Would have been a big time shot for him. But he's a solid player. And like Arkansas has JJ. They love Abdu Toure. Like there's Mika. There's some others who sort of fit that profile. But I wouldn't be stunned if Arkansas threw its hat in the ring on a guy like that. So I'm going to be interested to see. Again, I think we've kind of identified who the primary targets are. But when Cal's saying things like, some guys have surprised me, better than I thought they were, guys that I hadn't really considered, now I am. Well, let's see who they are, if that's a thing. We'll find out. Not much going on out at Adidas there in California. As I was told by a source who was there, that shouldn't be taken as a sign that the guys over there aren't priorities, though. Chuck Martin was out there, by the way. Just, Cal didn't spend much time out there, if any at all, actually. But Chuck Martin was out there. He watched Tay Kenny put up 24 points and 4 assists, 8 rebounds in a game there on Friday that he kind of took over. I thought he looked really good. It's interesting because, Darren Rippey is another guy out there. And there's been a lot of debate, at least over on the Discord, is like, who's the better point guard? And I got to be honest with you, and got this confirmed from the guy that I was talking to out there, that Rippey might actually profile as more of a Cal guard. Now, Arkansas is out of the running for him, but Kenny's very good in his own right. They're just kind of different styles of players. Obviously, the overtime elite factor and everything. I think Mark Pope did fly out there to see him for what it's worth. I'm not sure about Pat Kelsey, but that visit's going to be very interesting in late September with Tay Kenny there. But most of the top guys wound up not playing as the weekend went on out there at Adidas. Why would you? Like, they've kind of already crowned their champions. All the coaches are out at Peach Jam. This is an invite-only thing. Like Toure, for example, as we mentioned yesterday, didn't play in that late game Thursday, didn't play Friday. Caleb Holt is another. Of course, Arafandiani and his Iowa team, they wound up playing in that made hoops deal there in Augusta right by Peach Jam. I can't get over him. I mean, he dropped 30 in front of Cal the other night, and he played against Beckham Black, AB's brother, as well. And so those guys were like sharing the floor, and there was some. They might have been better talent, honestly, at the made hoops deal than there was at out at Adidas this weekend. It was just kind of one of those deals. But as far as I can tell, John Calipari or Kenny Payne or both were at pretty much every one of Arafan's games this weekend. So, hey, I mean, he's really, really emerged as a primary target for Arkansas, and I think they're in strong position for him. Did notice that Danny Hurley and UConn are making a push as well. Like, that staff was tracking him the entire weekend. So, eyes on them as well. So it's interesting. You think about like Jordan Smith Jr. and Brandon McCoy, and it's like, all right, Arkansas, Duke, okay. Then you think about, Diani, Torrey, and you think, all right, Arkansas, UConn. So again, it's just Cal, man, and recruiting against some of the heavy hitters. It's a lot of fun, and he's going to win more of those battles than he's going to lose. So I'm really interested to see how this class winds up shaping up, because we've talked about, this could be a year where it should be a year where Arkansas has more draft picks. They got a couple guys running out of eligibility. So is Cal going to take more freshmen? Is he going to take more transfers? Because you might have the same numbers of returners, but you might not have as much production and talent coming back. So what's that going to look like? Does he stretch out the freshman class? Maybe. But it is down after the top handful of guys there. But boy, he doesn't seem like the type of coach that's going to take 3 or 4 transfers. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all shakes out, especially who he takes early. Because I do think some of these guys that we've been talking about throughout the course of the week with this 2026 class, they're not going to sign in the early period in November. And so some of those recruitments are going to drag out until the spring signing period, which coincides with the transfer portal. And then you're really going to have to decide, because you're going to be looking at super talented NBA one and done upside freshmen versus, very talented, but veteran, rugged, has proven it in the college game transfers. And which way is he going to go? Who's he going to spend his money on? And we won't have the answer to that for months. But anyway, appreciate you guys tuning in for always. We're going to get out of here for now. And hopefully our weekend roundup on Monday, we're talking about JJ Andrews winning another Peach Jam title and then getting into some other things. That would be really, really cool. But looking forward to tuning in to that game this morning, and wish him well. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Appreciate it. Subscribe where you need to get subscribed, whether it's podcast form or the YouTube channel. You guys know the drill at this point, and I'll be back in the morning. Appreciate you as always. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the Pod at the Palace. See you tomorrow.